Hey guys, so we're gonna start the morning off with Snoring Beauty. And before we do, if you haven't already, I sent the link to your parents through Parent Square and even on Facebook if they added me on Facebook. I really wanted you guys to watch the classic fairy tale first, Sleeping Beauty, so you had some background knowledge. So if you haven't done that, pause this video, don't watch it yet. And I want you to go to either your parent and ask them about that video so that you can see that first, and then you can watch this video. But if you already have seen the video, I'm actually going to share something with you guys that I want you to start with what I want you to write first. So I'm going to share our Google Slides. So what do you already know about the classic fairy tale Sleeping Beauty? If you've seen it, the video that we sent earlier this morning, you have some background knowledge on it. So you're going to take out your reader's notebook or writer's notebook, either one, it doesn't matter because we're reading fairy tales during our reading time, but we're also writing them during our writing time. So it really doesn't matter. Something I already know about Sleeping Beauty is so take a few minutes to write down something you've learned through listening to the story earlier. Something about the characters, what happens in the story, what's the climax of the story, any of that information, okay? And then just pause me so that when you come back, we can talk about it. All right, so that means you're back. You pause me and you're back and you've written a full sentence. So you might have said something that you know about Sleeping Beauty. You know that there's a king and a queen and they have this child named Aurora, which is the name of the character in Sleeping Beauty. And there's a wicked witch, there's a villain, right? Ooh, makes me think of when we did our lesson on secondary characters. We have sometimes 3 different types of secondary characters. Like in my class, Enzo was really into that. I remember he was like, oh wait, yeah, like we have, sorry about that. We have the sidekick, the challenger, the advisor. And so the villain, the wicked witch, right, would be the challenger in the story. So you might have said something about the story, something along those lines about Sleeping Beauty. As we're reading, there's a lot of juicy words in here. So I'm going to be writing those juicy words. I want you to make sure you have this chart. You see this chart where it says juicy words. I want you to make this table in your notebook. So unknown word, meaning, synonym, and then you're also going to write a sentence. We're going to practice doing that all together because we always find the meaning of unknown words. So just to take a few minutes to jot that down, you can always pause me. And then when you're ready, we can start the story. And I'm going to just exit out of here so that you guys can see the story a little bit better. And then we'll come back to it. So this is called Snoring Beauty. It's another fairy tale adaptation. I'm so excited because I remember when I was a kid, I remember watching Sleeping Beauty and I just loved the story. So I really want you to notice the differences between the classic fairy tale and this adaptation. Because really, by reading these and by reading a ton of fairy tales, we're really understanding author's purpose and understanding how the writer makes these choices and how they tweak the story to make it their own. Ready? And we're gonna start. So Snoring Beauty by Sudipta Baron Quallen. The night before his wedding day, the skies were dark and dreary, but in his house, a little mouse was dreaming of his dearie. Mouse grinned a goofy little grin and settled in for dozing. He needed rest to look his best, but as his eyes were closing, so here's a picture of the little mouse sleeping. But as his eyes were closing, from deep inside the tower room, there came a monstrous roaring. It shook the night, as tucked in tight lay Sleeping Beauty, snoring. I know someday a prince will come to break this spell, Mouse grumbled. Till then, each quake kept Mouse awake as Beauty's snoring rumbled. So there are already a ton of juicy words on this page. So there's the word dreary. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to share my slides with you guys just so you guys can see it. And remember, if I'm writing, you're gonna write as well. And I'm gonna exit out of here so you guys can see it a little bit better. And so, well, so that I can write and then I'll present it. So dreary. That's a good juicy word. I say, you say dreary. I'm gonna go back and read it to try to figure out the meaning. The night before his wedding day, the skies were dark and dreary. Dreary makes me think, like when the skies are dark, it makes me think of gloomy. So I'm wondering if dreary, it means when the sky is really dark, when it looks, and it may look like it's about to rain. And as soon as I said dreary, the word gloomy came to mind. So I'm wondering if that's a synonym. Remember, a synonym isn't a word for another word, right? Kind of like we use juicy. I say juicy words all the time. Really what I mean is synonyms, right? Like instead of saying the word angry, we've said the word livid. Instead of saying the word sad, we've said the word melancholy. So I'm gonna add for synonyms that gloomy might be a really good synonym for dreary. And I wanna think of a sentence. Well, I'm in Irvine right now and like the sky has been pretty dreary lately. So I might write my sentence, when I looked outside the window, the sky looked dreary. Looked dreary. The clouds looked gray, comma, heavy with rain. Ooh, my table is really small because it's on my Google Slides page, but this is what you're gonna be doing in yours. So I'm gonna just make it bigger so you guys can see, and I want you to write it down. And instead of using my sentence, when I looked outside the window, the sky looked dreary, the clouds looked gray, heavy with rain, try to use your own, right? Think of your own. Oh, and I just noticed that I made a mistake, so let's fix that. The word dreary. Okay. So this is an opportunity for you right now to pause it and jot down anything that we've written so far. And we're gonna go back to the story. So I'm gonna stop share and we're back. Okay, wow. So there's a Sleeping Beauty is not Sleeping Beauty, she's Snoring Beauty. And here's a picture of Snoring Beauty. She snores a lot. Mouse rose to close the shutters, then he peeked outside the tower. His eyes grew wide. "A prince," he cried. "I'll sleep within the hour." "My name is Max." Ooh, Max from Miss Anansa's class. "My name is Max," the prince announced, his manner prim and snooty. With shoulders squared, Prince Max declared, "I'm here for Sleeping Beauty." Here's a picture of the castle. Rushing to unlock the gates, Mouse welcomed Max, elated. From Beauty's room came Snoogle. And Mouse's hopes deflated. "Who waits in there? A troll? A bear?" asked Max. Through all the clatter, the tower shook from every nook. Small creatures ran and scattered. Wow. So the prince has arrived, but he hears Snoring Beauty and he's not impressed. He doesn't like the sound of her snoring. And there's two really juicy words on this page that I must share with you guys. I'm gonna read it again. Rushing to unlock the gate, Mouse welcomed Max, elated. From Beauty's room came and Mouse's hopes deflated. "Who waits in there? A troll? A bear?" asked Max through all the clatter. The tower shook from every nook. Small creatures ran and scattered. So there's a lot of juicy words on there, but I'm gonna focus on two, the word elated and the word deflated. Those are really good juicy words. I'm gonna go back to share my presentation again with you guys. Let's see if it works. Okay, yep. and share. And I think what we're going to do is, because this is a very small page, I'm just going to copy it so that we can make another one. So I'm going to click copy if it lets me. Yes, it does. Okay. And let's add a new page. And let's paste it. Okay, so now we have this again. Remember that you're going to be adding whatever I'm writing. And you've already done this one, so I'm actually going to take that one out. So we have the word elated and the word deflated, and they both rhyme. This author has been using a lot of rhyme in their book. Something you can even consider when you're writing your own. So elated. I'm going to go back to it. Rushing to unlock the gate, Mouse welcomed Max, elated. Well, if I think back, Mouse is really excited when he sees the prince or he hears the prince coming because he's tired of all the snoring. So it makes me think that when somebody is elated, it means they are extremely happy or excited, which means that's a good synonym for elated, excited. When somebody is excited. I'm thinking of a sentence. I've been spending some time in Irvine with the 3 dogs, and every time we take them out for a walk, they get super elated. So I might write a sentence about them. So Nova, as soon as Ariel, Nova, and Rocky hear the word walk, W-A, a walk, right? I'm not trying to say it too loud because then they're gonna get elated. Hear the word walk, they become elated and begin to wag their tails furiously or rapidly. Let's do rapidly. Ooh, juicy sentence. As soon as Ariel, Nova, and Rocky hear the sound walk, they become elated and begin to wag their tails rapidly. I'm just gonna underline the word elated. Now we have the word deflated, which rhymes with elated, but let's see what it means. Let's try to figure it out. So Mouse welcome Max, elated from Beauty's room, came, and Mouse's hopes deflated. So it seems like his hopes are either going up or down, but man, if the prince is hearing all that snoring, and then he says, who waits in there? A troll, a bear? Man, he's calling the princess a troll or a bear. Wow. So it might mean that his hope deflated means when something doesn't turn out well. Something doesn't turn out as expected. Deflated. I wonder, another synonym for deflated, another juicy word. Seems like Mouse is a little disappointed. Let's use that. And then let's think of a sentence. This is perfect. I was very deflated to find out we would be off for 2 weeks because that means I don't get to work with my students. It's true. I feel very deflated about it. Okay, so I'm going to make this big so you guys can see it again. Again, I really would like for you guys to come up with your own sentences because that's just a great practice. And look at my sentences. They're juicy sentences. I'm not using simple sentences. I'm using complex sentences. So try that out. And remember, you can pause me. And I'm only going to stop maybe a few more times for some of those other juicier words, but we're going to try to finish the video. Okay? And let's stop the share and back to the book. Oh no, Mouse cried and quickly lied. It's just some creaky flooring. Go on ahead, although Mouse said, she may be softly snoring. But Max was not a bit alarmed. He said, I'll do my duty. He drew his sword and hurried toward the sleeping Princess Beauty. As Max knelt, ooh, knelt is a juicy word because it's an irregular word. It's an irregular verb in the past tense. So as Max knelt, so when you put your knees down, right, the past tense for that is knelt. And that Kate is silent. What a tricky little word. So as Max knelt next to Beauty's bed, her lashes gently fluttered. Prince Max leaned in, Mouse hid a grin, and then she sputtered. Prince Max flew back, surprised and shocked. Oh, how loud, he bellowed. Ah, rats, Mouse wept. Though Beauty slept, the had not mellowed. She keeps on snoring. Do any of your parents snore? Do you snore? Mouse said, let's work together now to stop these royal sputters. I propose we hold our nose. Oh, I suppose, Prince Max muttered. Mouse waited for a snoring pause, then pinched her nostrils tightly. Max puckered up, but then she snored impolitely. I don't know if I could live with somebody who snores that loudly. They grabbed 2 pitchers from a shelf as Beauty lay. Mouse yelled, heave-ho! From high and low. They gave her face a drenching. Oh no, they dropped cold water on her face. Mouse held his breath. Max bit his lip. Could this be it? They wondered. The room grew still, no sound until she thundered. You can see a picture of little Mouse. Let's try another plan, said Mouse, to solve this snoring pickle. Max nodded. Yes, snoring pickle, like in a pickle, when you're in a pickle and you're in a difficult situation. Max nodded yes. Mouse said, I guess we could give her a tickle. They pulled the sheets from Beauty's feet, and soon they heard her titter. But when boomed through the room, both Mouse and Max grew bitter. Ooh, they look very bitter right now. Highly upset. Mouse wrung his hands and stared at Max. That's it. I'm done, Max shouted. To Mouse's please, oh, a kiss her, please. Prince Max just frowned and pouted. I like the crown, I like the throne, I really like the castle. Max shook his head. He shrugged and said, the snoring's too much hassle. We're going to go back to that juicy word in a little bit, hassle. As Max walked off, Mouse heard, he paced before the mirror. One kiss would do, but how, from who? At once it all got clearer. Mouse knew what he would have to do. I hope I won't get cooties. Through roaring snores, Mouse crossed the floor and pressed his lips to Beauty's. The Mouse is going to kiss Sleeping Beauty. I wonder, make a prediction. I predict that when Mouse kisses Sleeping Beauty, is going to happen. I wonder. Mouse pulled away and spit. The day's first light was dawning. He heard a high yet sleepy sigh, and Beauty started yawning. He heard a high yet sleepy sigh, and Beauty started yawning. She rubbed her tired, drowsy eyes, a sight Mouse found quite splendid. He ran outside to Max and cried. The snoring finally ended. She's finally awoken. I wonder how Mouse is feeling about this. Max followed Mouse into the room. Go kiss her now, Mouse prodded. Max bent a knee, said, marry me, and Beauty beamed and nodded. With just a bit of time to sleep, Mouse slumped against his bedding. He woke at 8 to celebrate his stylish double wedding. There's a smooch. Mouse kissed his bride and Max kissed his. They stood together grinning. Mouse raised his cup and offered up a toast to new beginnings. But when he tried to sleep that night, Mouse woke to monstrous roaring. He clutched his little ears and fought back tears, while Mrs. Mouse lay snoring. Oh, look at poor little Mouse's face. So before we go back to the Google slide, I want you just to think about how Max feels, not Max, the mouse. How does the mouse feel at the beginning of the story, and then how does he feel at the end? So Max feels at the beginning of the story, and now at the end he feels okay? And lastly, so write that down, and lastly we're going to go back to, there's one more word I wanted to share with you guys, the word hassle. So let's go to share. And I'm going to exit out so I can write. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see it better. Or I can fit more, that's what I mean. And so we have the other word, and I'm going to just put it in here, the word hassle. So, and I'm going to go back to that page because that's what good readers do. They go back. Let me see if I can find the word. Yeah, okay. I like the crown, I like the throne, I really like the castle. Max shook his head. He shrugged and said, the snoring is too much hassle. So I wonder if hassle maybe means like it's just too many issues or too many problems. Or too much work. Because the prince keeps trying to wake her up, but every single time she just keeps snoring very loudly. And so I'm wondering if another word for hassle might be like a problem. And I'm going to think of my own sentence, but I want you to think of yours, a hassle. Let me think. So a hassle. For some people, it's quite the hassle to have to commute or travel an hour a day to work. So some people who live far away from their jobs have to commute or drive to their work for about an hour, or maybe sometimes more, depending on traffic. And that's a hassle. It's a problem, right? Kind of becomes like, oh, I don't know if it's worth it. And that's what the prince is saying. Is it worth it to kiss her and become king when she just keeps snoring? So the last thing I really want you guys to do is to think about the differences between, and sorry, I forgot to make this big for you guys. So just take a moment to jot it down. I'm going to move my little video. So jot it down and write your own sentence, and pause if you need to pause. And then lastly, what I really want you guys to think about are the differences between the classic fairy tale and this fairy tale adaptation. And I want you to write a sentence in your notebook. Your sentence might read something like, a difference between Sleeping Beauty and Snoring Beauty is In addition, another difference is and lastly, another difference is So I really want you to analyze the differences between these classic fairy tales and the fairy tale adaptations. And I'll see you in the next one.